Ethan Hale learned early that silence could be louder than screams. He was 9 years old the first time he tried to explain what was happening. He sat at the small kitchen table, his feet not touching the floor, watching dust float through the afternoon light. His mother, Karen Hale, stood by the sink, arms crossed, tired from work. He told her carefully, slowly, choosing words the way a child chooses stepping stones across a river. "There's something wrong," he said. She didn't look at him. "What kind of wrong, Ethan?" He swallowed. His heart beat too fast. "I don't feel safe sometimes." That was the moment. Pause. The space where belief could have entered. Instead, she sighed. "You're sensitive. You always have been." Sensitive. The word landed and stayed. It became a label, a box he was placed in. After that, every strange feeling, every fear, every warning his body sent him was dismissed before it even reached the surface. As he grew older, Ethan learned how to speak less, how to keep things inside, how to smile at school and nod when adults spoke. He learned that truth, when it wasn't convenient, became invisible. Years later, at 28, he stood in a police station with pale walls and flickering lights, hands trembling, telling the same truth again, this time with more words, more detail, more urgency. Officer Ruiz sat across from him, pen poised over a notepad. He had kind eyes, but they were tired. The kind of tired that came from hearing too many stories and believing only some of them. "Take a breath," Officer Ruiz said. "Start from the beginning." Ethan did. He talked about the emails, the threats hidden behind polite language, the way his coworker, Mark, always knew where he was, how his apartment door had been unlocked twice when he was certain he'd locked it, how his phone battery drained overnight, how footsteps echoed behind him on empty streets. "I know how this sounds," Ethan said, voice cracking. "But I'm not imagining it." Officer Ruiz nodded slowly, the way people do when they're listening but not absorbing. "Do you have proof? Messages? Recordings?" "I deleted some because I was scared," Ethan said. "Others, they're vague." That's how he does it. The pen stopped moving. Officer Ruiz leaned back. "Ethan, stress can make patterns appear very real." There it was again. Pause. The door that didn't open. "So you don't believe me," Ethan said quietly. "I didn't say that," Ruiz replied. "I'm saying we need something concrete." Ethan walked out of the station feeling lighter and heavier at the same time. Lighter because he'd spoken. Heavier because the words had gone nowhere. That night, he sat alone in his apartment, the city humming outside, and wondered how many times a person could tell the truth before it stopped feeling like truth at all. He called Maya. Maya had been his friend since college, the one person who noticed when his smile faded too quickly. She answered on the second ring. "Hey," she said. "You okay?" "No," Ethan replied. "Can I come over?" She didn't ask questions. She never did when it mattered. At her apartment, wrapped in a blanket on her couch, Ethan told the story again. Every detail, every fear, every moment he'd questioned his own sanity. When he finished, there was silence. His chest tightened. Then Maya spoke. "I believe you." The words hit him harder than anything else that day. He laughed once, a sharp sound, then covered his face with his hands. "I feel crazy," he whispered. "You're not," she said. "Being unheard does that to people." For the first time in years, Ethan slept without watching the door. But belief, he would learn, is fragile. The next morning he woke to another email. Short. Simple. "No one ever listens to you." His hands shook as he forwarded it to Officer Ruiz. The reply came hours later. "This could be coincidence. Please remain calm." Coincidence. Another word that closed another door. At work, whispers followed him. HR had called him in, just to check in. His supervisor smiled too much and asked if everything was okay at home. The story had changed somewhere along the way. He wasn't a victim. He was a concern. By the end of the week, Ethan felt like he was disappearing in plain sight. Even Maya, though she tried, started suggesting therapy more often than solutions. It might help you cope, she said gently. Oh, not stop, not protect, just cope. Ethan agreed to see Dr. Collins. The office smelled like lavender and clean paper. Dr. Collins listened with professional warmth, nodding at the right moments. How does it make you feel, she asked, when people don't believe you? Invisible, Ethan said. Like I don't exist unless I'm convenient. She wrote something down. Sometimes, she said carefully, our minds create narratives to make sense of fear. Ethan stared at the floor. Even here. Even now. That night, standing in his dark apartment, Ethan wondered if truth needed witnesses to survive. Outside, a shadow moved past his window. And for the first time, he didn't know whether the real danger was being watched, or being alone with the truth. The first thing Ethan noticed was how quiet the world became when people stopped believing him. It wasn't peaceful quiet. It was hollow. Conversations ended faster. Eye contact lingered just long enough to feel uncomfortable. Friends responded slower. Emails from work grew formal, distant. He started documenting everything. Screenshots. He bought a small notebook and wrote until his hand cramped. If proof was what the world needed, he would build a mountain of it. But proof, he learned, only mattered if someone wanted to see it. One afternoon he showed Maya the notebook. She flipped through the pages, her brow tightening. This is a lot, she said. It's everything, Ethan replied. This is my life. She hesitated. Ethan, have you considered that focusing on this might be making it worse? He felt the sting immediately. You think I'm causing it. I think you're hurting, she said. And I don't know how to help you. That was the moment something shifted between them. Not broken, but strained, like glass under pressure. The emails continued. The presence followed him like a second shadow. And still nothing was explicit enough. No threats, no confessions. Just the steady erosion of safety. One evening, Ethan found his apartment door wide open. Nothing was missing. He called the police again. Officer Ruiz arrived, walking through the apartment with practiced efficiency. He checked the lock, the windows. No sign of forced entry, Ruiz said. I know I locked it, Ethan insisted. I always lock it. Ruiz sighed. Do you have a history of sleepwalking? Ethan stared at him. Because sometimes, Ruiz continued, people do things without remembering. The words landed like a verdict. After Ruiz left, Ethan sat on the floor, back against the couch, shaking. He laughed softly, then cried harder than he had in years. He didn't go to work the next day. Char called. Concerned. Supportive. Suggesting time off. He took it. Days blurred together. Therapy sessions. Long walks. Nights with all the lights on. He stopped checking his email. Stopped answering calls. Until one message broke through. From Lena. She'd been quiet, always observant. A coworker who never joined office gossip. Her message was short. I think I know what's happening. Please call me. They met at a coffee shop across town. Lena looked nervous, fingers wrapped tight around her cup. I didn't want to say anything before, she said. Because I wasn't sure. Sure of what? Ethan asked. That Mark has been watching you, she said. I saw him going through your desk. Once. I saw him outside your building. Ethan's breath caught. Why didn't you say something? Because when I mentioned it to someone else they laughed, she said. Said you were paranoid. Paranoid. The word echoed. Will you tell the police? Ethan asked. Lena hesitated. If I do, they'll ask why I waited. Ethan nodded. He understood that kind of fear. Still, hope flickered. For the first time, someone else had seen it. Not felt it. Seen it. They went together to the station. Officer Ruiz listened again. This time with Lena there. He nodded. Questions. Wrote notes. This helps, he said. We'll look into it. Ethan wanted to believe him. But days passed. Then weeks. Nothing changed. Mark stopped showing up at work. Char said he'd taken leave. No explanation. The emails stopped. The silence returned, but different now. Thicker. Unsettling. One night, Ethan woke to his phone buzzing. A message from an unknown number. Even when they believe you, they won't save you. Something inside him snapped. He forwarded everything. The notebook. The screenshots. Lena's statement. This time the response was faster. Officer Ruiz called. His voice was serious now. Alert. We found something, he said. We should talk. At the station, Ruiz showed him printed emails. Metadata. P addresses. They trace back to Mark, Ruiz said. He's gone off-grid. Ethan felt relief crash into fear. So you believe me now, he said. Ruiz met his eyes. I'm sorry it took this long. Sorry. Another word. Too late to erase the damage. Mark was never found. The case closed quietly. No headlines. No apology from work. No announcement. Life was expected to return to normal. But normal was gone. Even with the truth out, Ethan felt changed. Trust didn't come back easily. Sleep was still shallow. Silence still loud. One evening, sitting with Maya again, he finally said what had been burning inside him. Being right didn't heal me, he said. Being believed too late still hurts. Maya reached for his hand. I wish I'd trusted you sooner. Ethan nodded. He appreciated the honesty. Some wounds, he realized, weren't about what happened, but about who stood with you when it did. And some echoes never fully fade. Ethan moved apartments in the spring. New walls. New street. New locks. He told himself it was a fresh start, but fresh starts still carry old memories if you're not careful. The city looked the same. People rushed past, absorbed in their own lives. No one knew his story. No one looked at him with concern or doubt. Anonymity felt strange and comforting. He found a job at a smaller company. Fewer people. Fewer shadows. His supervisor spoke plainly. His co-workers kept their distance in a respectful way. No whispers. Still, the damage lingered quietly. In meetings, Ethan hesitated before speaking. In conversations, he measured every word. Truth had once cost him too much to offer it freely. He kept therapy appointments. Dr. Collins listened differently now, acknowledging the reality instead of reshaping it. What hurt the most? She asked one day. Ethan thought for a long time. Not what he did, he said, but how alone I felt telling the truth. Dr. Collins nodded. Disbelief isolates. Validation reconnects. Outside the office, the world kept moving. Maya visited often. Their friendship had changed, but it hadn't broken. They talked more honestly now. Less assumption. More listening. I'm learning, Maya said one evening, that believing someone doesn't mean understanding everything. It just means standing with them. Ethan smiled softly. That would have meant everything back then. He began writing. First just for himself. Pages about silence. About being dismissed. About the strange violence of doubt. Writing helped him reclaim his voice. One night he posted a short piece online. Anonymous. Just a story. The response surprised him. Comments flooded in. People sharing similar experiences. Different details. Same pain. No one believed me either. I thought I was alone. Thank you for saying this. Ethan read every word slowly, carefully. Truth, he realized, didn't disappear when ignored. It waited. Found new ways out. Months passed. One afternoon he received an email from Lena. I still think about what happened, she wrote. I'm sorry I was scared. Hope you're okay. He replied honestly. I am learning to be. There were days he still flinched at unfamiliar footsteps. Nights when silence felt heavy. But there were also mornings filled with light, coffee, routine. A life slowly rebuilding itself. Ethan never sought revenge. Never wanted attention. What he wanted was simpler. To be heard. At a small storytelling event, encouraged by friends from his writing group, Ethan stood on stage for the first time. The room was dim. Faces blurred into a soft outline. He told a story. Not all the details, not names, not accusations. Just the feeling. the weight of being unheard. When he finished, the room was quiet. Then someone clapped. Then another. Afterward, a stranger approached him. A young man, nervous. "Thank you," the man said. "I've been trying to tell people something and they don't listen. But hearing you, it helps." Ethan felt something settle in his chest. "You're not alone," he said. "Even when it feels like it." Walking home that night, city lights reflecting off wet pavement, Ethan realized something important. Belief doesn't erase pain. It doesn't undo the past. But it reminds us that we exist. That our experiences matter. That truth doesn't need permission to be real. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for someone isn't to fix their story. It's to believe it while it's still being told. He stood in the middle of the room, shaking, telling the truth with everything he had. But the faces around him stayed blank. No anger. No sympathy. Just disbelief. And in that moment, he realized something terrifying. Being ignored can hurt more than being hurt.